Hello and welcome. I'm calling Daniel from riffninja.com, and this is a series of 3 lessons, and this is number 1 in this series, and we're going to have a look at power chord secrets. The first secret we're going to look at is called an inversion. That's the actual technical name for it. Now, all of you may or may not, and so I'm going to assume that you may or may not be familiar with a very, very common power chord. I'm going to start, my guitar is in standard tuning. I'm going to start here at the 3rd fret with my 1st finger and the 5th fret with my 3rd finger, and I'm just playing the 6th and 5th string. That's it. Now it looks like I've got my finger across the fretboard and I'm fretting other strings, but I'm not. I'm actually touching the strings and muting them out so that you can't. Those are the only 2 strings that are sounding. The rest of them are dead. So the way I do that is by just using my fingertip, the very tip of the finger, because all I got to do is get the 6th string. And then very gently, my finger arcs over the strings and just touches them, not fretting them out, but just touch them enough so that they don't ring. Okay? Now this is a standard power chord, and I just wanted to tell you that beforehand in case you're looking at it going, what's he doing? I'm only using 2 strings. This is a G perfect 5th. It's an interval. It's a 2-note. It's a 2-note harmony. It's not a chord. A chord is 3 notes. I see a lot of confusion about that on the internet and the internet teaching. Go ahead, look it up in Barbara Warham's Elementary Rudiments of Music. It's a standard of college in piano and music theory. And it doesn't matter whether it's on the piano or on the guitar. It's still the same rules. And you'll find that the definition of a 2-note harmony is an interval. It's not a chord. The definition of a 3-note harmony is a chord, or should I say the name. The definition of a chord is a 3-note harmony. The chord labels it a 3-note harmony. That's the way to look at it. So an interval is a 2-note harmony, and a triad, or a 3-note, 3 different notes, they have to be different notes, not octave repeats, is a chord harmony. So technically, and I know I'm going to get some arguments from you in a minute, but for now, let's just start here with this perfect 5th interval. The G and the D. This is my root, the G. And it can be used to substitute any chords. Like, you know, say you had a chord progression like G major, C and D, right? G, C, and D, G, C, and D. Here's my G using the 6th and 5th string. Here's my C using the same technique with the power chord and the C and D. So I'm assuming that you know these, but I just went over them for you if you didn't quickly, because I'm not wanting a total beginner here, but I want to get you kicked in too. Okay, now here's the next thing, and this is called a slash chord, or a slash. Since this is not technically a chord, I can't really call it a slash chord. I'd call it a slash interval. I've never seen it called that. I think it's just a quirk because originally the theory was designed for symphonic music on the piano, and then it transferred over to all the other instruments. And the guitar has some interesting characters. And this whole power chord secret thing is about the wonderful character of the guitar and how the guitar can break rules, but if you use some common sense and a little good solid theory knowledge, simple but standard theory knowledge, you can overcome it and really learn to use these harmonies well. So, you know, what I like to do here, and this is a very good example, there's a couple different examples. For one, you can add another note to your power chord and still have it technically be just a power chord. Here's a G, here's a D, and now on the 4th string, right underneath the 5th string, and that's 5th string, 5th fret, right underneath it, the pinky presses down on the 5th fret, and we still have a G, a D, and another G. This is an octave. Yes, it's 3 notes, but it's not 3 different notes. It's a G, a D, and a high G. This is not G major. This is not G minor. It could be used to substitute or replace in a song or a chord progression. It could be used to substitute for both major and minor and seventh chords too in some cases, depending on, you know, where we're going with this. So you can pick it. You can stroke it more like a strum. It's totally movable. That's still a G5, A5, B5, C5, D5, right? And now you can do the same thing on the fifth string, using the fifth string, the fourth string, and the third string. That's a C5, a D5, E5, F, and G5. They're all perfect fifth harmonies of each other. If you really wanted to get technical, go back to the G for a minute. We've got a low G, a high D, and a high G. You could call it a G5 and a G perfect eighth. So G5, G8. But no need to. It's a G5. It substitutes. And you'll see it's part of the chord to begin with. So, but it's not the complete chord until you get 3 different notes, okay? And now that you got that, I got one more trick for you, and that's this. On my root 5 means fifth string root. So let's say I take a C chord here. I have a C, then I have its fifth on the fourth string. I mean fifth harmony, you know, like a fifth of C is G. Fifth is C, D, E, F, G. 5 notes up in the scale of C, you have a G. That's your perfect fifth harmony. This is your root, the C. Now I'm going to go for the other C octave, which we already discussed. Okay, so we got a C, we got a C, a G, and another C. We also have a G here. But wait a minute, and you've seen this before. I'm sure you have. Usually it's played like this. And they don't use the second and first string is muted out. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. But this is what we've got happening here if we do that. First, there's different fingerings for it is what I'm saying to you. And you may not recognize it first, but I'm sure you've seen your favorite artist or you've seen other guitar players using this. And now I'm going to clarify what it is, okay? So here we go. So this is a C, this is a G, this is another C, and I got a low G. This is what I call a slash interval, right? If I play this low G, the C, like that, on the 6th, 5th, and 4th string, even though we're playing a lower harmony, and I'm not using the G position, I'm using the C as my root, and the G is my high note, that's the 5th, and now I'm playing a low G, but it's still based on a C root. It's still based on a C. It just gives it a low, growly kind of a tonality to it that you couldn't get by just playing it with the 5th string. So that's called an inversion because you see this is C and this is G, and this is G, the lower octave. G in relation to C is the 5th, right? But we're really technically supposed to measure a 2-note harmony from the lowest note, which would have to be the G. If you go G to C, that's a perfect 4th. That's 1 and 4. But we're not relating it to the G at all. We're relating it to the C and adding a low bass note to the C perfect 5th. So it's still a C perfect 5th slash low G bass note. So usually the correct way to write that would be C with a 5, you know, numeral 5, and then a slash, and then the G after. So C5 slash G, and that would tell you that the slash is telling you that it's a low G bass note. All right? You got that? Because there's a lot of players that use it. The one that I can think of right off the top of my head at this very, very second, because I'm a Hendrix fan, would be Wind Cries Mary when he does this at the beginning. So he takes his root 5, D, E, and D, D sharp, and E. It's a chromatic thing, right? And he uses the low inversion, low fifth root. You know, for the D, it's D and A, and there's your low A, right? So this would be a D5, because although it looks like I'm playing all 6 strings, I am not. I'm using the 6th, the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd string. Because I've got D, it's 5th, which is A, another D here, and another D here. So I got 3 Ds and an A, and we have a big fat sounding power chord. It's not technically a chord, but it sounds really rich, and it has a certain effect to it that you can't get it any other way. So this is really a power chord secret. So this is not related to an A, a B, or a C sharp. It's related, or should I say it's related. See, I'm going chromatically. It's related to the root 5, D, D sharp, and E. But I'm playing a low A sharp, and a G, right? And I'm emphasizing the low notes. Really cool. Those are those power chords. Like I said, it looks like I'm playing the other strings, but I'm not. I'm actually muting with this 3rd finger. I'm covering the 6th and 5th string with my 1st finger, and the 4th and 3rd string with my 3rd finger. And then I'm muting with my 3rd finger the 2nd and 1st string. All right. So I hope this opened the window, because once you know how these inversions are related to the chord, then you can use them to create different variations of the blend of the chord, and it works every time, I guarantee you. Check it out. Thanks for your time. Hope this has been informative, and we'll see you soon again.